It was a bustling morning at Horizon International Airport, with travelers rushing to catch their flights. Among them was Marcus Green, a seasoned pilot enjoying a well-earned day off. Marcus was flying as a passenger on Sky Airlines Flight 214 to Paris, with plans for a peaceful trip in first class, a perk from the airline after years of exemplary service. Marcus, a tall, self-assured man, dressed casually in a bomber jacket and jeans, carried a small travel bag. As he approached the boarding gate, the usual chaos of boarding passengers unfolded. But something caught his attention: curious, even skeptical glances from some of the staff. One of the flight attendants, Emily, reviewed Marcus's boarding pass. Her eyes briefly scanned him before narrowing. "Sir, there appears to be some confusion with your seat," she said, her tone laced with doubt. Marcus, calm as always, handed over his ticket again. "No confusion. That's my seat, 1A in first class." Emily glanced at the ticket, then back at him, her demeanor shifting to one of authority. "I'm afraid first class is for premium passengers only," she said curtly. "You'll need to head to economy in the rear of the plane." Surprised but composed, Marcus replied, "You might want to double-check that. I'm fairly certain I'm where I'm supposed to be." Her lips tightened as she signaled another staff member. "We'll verify your ticket, but until then, please move aside to let other passengers board." The growing crowd around them watched the exchange, and Marcus could feel the weight of their stares. Despite his calm explanations, Emily's doubts persisted. With a tone that barely hid her irritation, she added, "Sir, upgrades require pre-approval. Let's not delay the process." Accepting the situation for now, Marcus nodded and made his way to the economy cabin. The narrow, crowded aisle seemed a far cry from the comfort he had expected. Settling into his cramped seat, he noticed a few passengers whispering and glancing at him. Their curiosity, mixed with judgment, didn't escape him. As the plane ascended, Marcus tried to let the incident go, distracting himself with a book. But an hour into the flight, an unexpected announcement over the intercom shattered the calm. "Ladies and gentlemen, we're experiencing a medical emergency with one of our pilots. If there's anyone with flight experience, please notify the crew immediately." Panic rippled through the cabin as flight attendants scrambled to address the situation. Marcus pressed the call button, and when an attendant arrived, he calmly said, "I can assist. I'm a licensed pilot with Sky Airlines." The attendant hesitated, scanning him uncertainly. Marcus retrieved his badge from his jacket. "You can verify this. I've flown the same aircraft model." Emily appeared moments later, her face betraying shock when she recognized him. "You're a pilot?" she asked, disbelief coloring her voice. "Yes," Marcus answered firmly, meeting her gaze. "And I'd like to help before this situation worsens." With no time to waste, Marcus was led to the cockpit. Inside, the co-pilot was visibly shaken as the captain lay unresponsive in his seat. Taking immediate control, Marcus assessed the situation and reassured the crew. His steady demeanor quickly brought a sense of order to the chaos. Meanwhile, in the cabin, the passengers whispered anxiously. Some had seen Marcus being dismissed to economy earlier and were now stunned by the revelation of his true role. Emily, standing near the cockpit, watched Marcus work with quiet awe. Her earlier assumptions felt like a heavy weight on her chest. She recalled her dismissive tone and unfair treatment and couldn't help but feel ashamed. Under Marcus's command, the flight stabilized, and the passengers were reassured by announcements from the cockpit. His expertise shone through, and the plane continued its journey without further incident, ultimately landing safely at its destination. As the passengers disembarked, many paused to thank Marcus, expressing admiration and gratitude. Some even commented on how calm and collected he had been. Marcus accepted their words with humility, offering polite nods and smiles. Emily approached him as he prepared to leave. Her confident demeanor from earlier had been replaced by visible remorse. "Mr. Green," she began hesitantly, "I owe you an apology. I misjudged you, and I was completely out of line." Marcus looked at her thoughtfully before responding. "It's not about me. It's about how you treat everyone. Respect shouldn't depend on what someone looks like or where they sit." Maybe today was a chance to learn that. Emily nodded, humbled by his words. "Thank you. I'll remember that." Marcus offered a small smile and walked off the plane, leaving the crew and passengers with more than just the memory of a safe landing. He had delivered a lesson in dignity and respect that would linger far longer than the flight itself. As the sun dipped below the horizon at the airport, Marcus strolled toward the terminal, blending into the crowd once more. But for those who had shared the flight, his calm strength and quiet wisdom would not be forgotten. As Marcus walked through the bustling terminal, his mind was already shifting away from the flight. He didn't seek applause or recognition. His focus was always on doing the right thing, regardless of the circumstances. The incident aboard the plane was just another reminder of the challenges he had faced throughout his career and in life, but it also affirmed the quiet strength that had brought him this far. For Marcus, moments like these weren't about proving his worth to others. He had long learned that his value wasn't tied to others' perceptions. Instead, it was about setting an example and reminding those around him, whether they recognized it or not, that dignity and respect transcend appearances. Behind him, the terminal hummed with the chatter of passengers recounting the remarkable turn of events. Some shared the story of the pilot from economy with disbelief, while others reflected on their own assumptions and judgments. The older woman who had whispered earlier about Marcus now spoke to her companion with admiration. "Can you believe it? He saved the entire flight. And to think we judged him so quickly." Emily, standing near the gate with her fellow crew members, couldn't stop replaying the incident in her mind. She had built her confidence on experience, training, and a sense of professionalism. Yet, in just a few hours, Marcus had unraveled her preconceived notions and left her questioning not only her actions, but also her values. She turned to one of her colleagues and said quietly, "I don't think I'll ever forget him, or how wrong I was." As the hours passed, the story of Marcus's actions began spreading beyond the terminal. Some passengers had recorded snippets of the landing and shared them online. The clips showed Marcus exiting the cockpit, calm and composed, as passengers applauded and thanked him. The accompanying captions ranged from "hero in disguise" to "never judge a book by its cover." Marcus, however, remained blissfully unaware of the viral attention. He had made his way to a quiet cafe near the airport, sipping a cup of coffee and reading a book while waiting for his connecting flight. The world outside might have been abuzz with his story, but he found solace in the simplicity of the moment. For him, true victories were internal, knowing he had done his job well and helped when it mattered most. As the evening wore on, Marcus received a notification on his phone. It was from the airline, an official commendation for his actions. The message thanked him for his professionalism and courage, noting that his calm leadership had averted what could have been a far worse situation. Marcus smiled at the acknowledgement but quickly closed the notification, choosing to remain in the present moment. Meanwhile, Emily sat with the rest of the crew during their debriefing. The discussion naturally turned to Marcus, with each crew member reflecting on what they had learned. Emily finally spoke up, her voice tinged with regret but also resolve. "I was wrong to judge him. I let assumptions cloud my professionalism, and I've realized how much that matters. Moving forward, I'm going to treat every passenger, not just the ones in first class, with the respect they deserve." That's what I'll take away from today. Marcus's actions left a ripple effect that extended far beyond the flight. Passengers shared their experiences with friends and family, discussing the importance of humility, respect, and not judging others. Emily and the crew made a collective effort to rethink their approach to customer service, carrying Marcus's lesson into every flight they worked. As Marcus boarded his next plane, he reflected on the day. Though he would never seek it, he couldn't help but feel a quiet satisfaction knowing that his actions had left an impression on so many. The world didn't always give immediate rewards for kindness or resilience, but Marcus knew that planting seeds of change often led to growth where it mattered most, in people's hearts and minds. As the aircraft lifted into the sky, Marcus leaned back in his seat, letting his thoughts drift. He didn't need the applause or the recognition to feel at peace. The true triumph was knowing that he had turned a moment of prejudice into an opportunity for understanding. A reminder to everyone, himself included, that respect and integrity always had the power to soar above judgment.